Shalom, welcome back to the sequential Kitvei Ha'ari series. Chapter 4 of Sha'ar HaKelalim enters the mystery of Ibur Sheni, second gestation, and the growth of Zer Anpin, the small face, through Shelishim, thirds. The Ari is describing a soul structure that has already been formed, already emerged, already received its first nourishment, and yet still needs to return inward in order to receive a deeper mind. This chapter, therefore, asks us to slow down. The Ari is not only describing where lights travel inside the worlds. He is showing that real growth happens in stages, being formed, being nourished, being hidden again, and then being expanded. A soul that wants lasting light must accept the dignity of process. God does not only create, God also matures what He creates, and every stage carries its own hidden mercy too. The chapter begins with a phrase from the Zohar on Akarei Mot. After they nursed, she became pregnant from them. At the simple level, this sounds backwards. Usually, pregnancy comes first, birth comes next, nursing comes after that. But here, the Ari says, there is another pregnancy after nursing. The child has already come out. The limbs are already present. The basic structure already stands. But the mind is not yet complete. The Ari gives the image of a child. A young child may have a full body, but he does not yet have complete da'at, inner knowing. He can move, he can receive, he can grow, but the settled power of mind is not yet mature. In the Ari's language, Zer Anpin has already passed through Yenika, nursing, but he now returns into Ima, the supernal mother, for a second hidden formation. This second Ibur is not to create the body from nothing. It is to give Mohin, expanded consciousness. This is a very deep principle. There is a first formation that gives existence, and there is a second formation that gives maturity. A person can have a real beginning in holiness and still need to return inward. A person can have structure, routine, prayer, discipline, and desire, and still need a deeper mind. The first birth does not finish the work. Sometimes the soul must be carried again, not because it failed, but because it is ready for more light. Then the Ari gives another image. Every night, when a person says, Beyatha afkit ruhi, into your hand I entrust my spirit, the soul rises. The lower souls ascend into Malchut, kingdom, and are renewed there. In a similar way, Zer Anpin and Nukva, the feminine vessel, ascend into Ima. They awaken Mayin Nukvin, feminine waters, and through that awakening, Ima unites with Abba, the father principle of Hokmah, wisdom. From that union, new mohin are drawn down. So the movement is not passive. The lower world rises, and the higher world responds. The soul offers itself upward, and then new consciousness descends. This is one of the most beautiful patterns in the Ari system. Growth is not only something pushed down from above, it is also awakened from below. The vessel must yearn, the lower must rise, the child must be gathered again into the mother, and from that hidden place, a new mind is born. The Ari then describes the form of Zeir Anpin in the first Ibur. At that stage, he is called three within three, meaning the lower powers are folded into the higher powers. He is like the letter Vav inside the upper He of the divine name Havaya. The Vav here is small. It has a point at its end, hinting to Malchut, included with him. It is a Vav without a full head. When Zeir Anpin comes out from Ima, the Vav becomes revealed after the first He of Havaya. Now it has a head, but the Ari says this is still only a head of Katnut, smallness. It is real, but it is immature. The limbs are thin, like the horns of locusts. The 6 ages are present, but they are not yet expanded. There is Hesed, kindness, Gevurah, strength, Tiferet, beauty, Netzach, endurance, Hod, humility, and Yesod, foundation. But their fullness has not yet opened. This is very recognizable in human life. Sometimes a person has all the parts. He has love, discipline, compassion, endurance, humility, and connection. But each quality is thin. Love is present, but it is easily wounded. Strength is present, but it can become reactive. Beauty is present, but not yet stable. Endurance is present, but inconsistent. Humility is present, but mixed with shame. Connection is present, but still fragile. The structure exists, but it needs enlargement. That enlargement comes through the entrance of Nehi of Ima, meaning Netzach, Hod, and Yesod of the mother, into the 6 qualities of Zeir Anpin. This is the heart of the chapter. Ima does not only give a general blessing. Ima enters as a measured inner structure. Her lower 3 powers become the inner support that causes Zeir Anpin to grow. The Ari explains this through thirds. Each quality is built from 3 sections: a perek, a section, of Netzach, of Ima, joins with 2 sections of Hesed of Zeir Anpin. And from those 3 sections, Hokmah of Zeir Anpin is formed. In the left line, a section of Hod of Ima joins with 2 sections of Gevurah of Zeir Anpin, and Binah of Zeir Anpin is formed. In the middle line, a section of Yesod of Ima joins with two sections of Tiferet of Zeir Anpin, and Da'at of Zeir Anpin is form. This is not just anatomy of a hidden spiritual world. It is a map of how maturity comes. The mind of Zeir Anpin is not dropped into him as something separate from his emotional life. His mind is formed through the elevation of his own qualities, joined with the inner support of Ima. Hesed rises and becomes wisdom. Gevurah rises and becomes understanding. Tiferet rises and becomes Da'at. The heart itself becomes capable of mind. This matters greatly for the soul. Real spiritual intelligence is not cold information. It is refined emotion lifted into understanding. A person does not become wise by escaping the heart. He becomes wise when love, fear, mercy, discipline, endurance, and humility are structured enough to receive a higher mind. The Ari is showing how consciousness is built from rectified emotion. The Ari brings the language of the Zohar, Hesed Hasadim, Gevurah Gevurot. Hesed joins with Hasadim, kindness. Gevurah joins with Gevurot, strengths. The right line grows from the right. The left line grows from the left. The middle line grows from the middle. Each side receives exactly the kind of support it needs. Then the chapter becomes even more precise. The sections of Ima do not stay fixed in the first place they enter. They descend and reposition. First, a lower section of Netzach of Ima enters the place of Hokmah in Zeir Anpin. Then a middle section enters and pushes the first section down into Hesed. Then the upper section enters and pushes the middle section down, while the lower section descends further into Netzach. Through this, the right line is completed. Hokmah above, Hesed in the middle, Netzach below. The same thing happens in the left line. Hod of Ima forms Binah, Gevurah, and Hod of Zeir Anpin. The same pattern happens in the middle line. Yesod of Ima helps form Da'at and Tiferet. But here, the Ari adds a very subtle point. Yesod of Ima is short. It does not extend all the way down to supply Yesod of Zeir Anpin in the same way. Because of this, Yesod of Zeir Anpin remains with only 2/3 from his own side, without the same direct third from Ima. The Ari connects this with Yosef, because Yosef corresponds to Yesod. He reads the phrase Yefeh Toar Veyefeh Mare, beautiful in form and beautiful in appearance, as hinting to Yatim, orphan. Yosef is beautiful, but in this specific structure, Yesod is called orphan from Ima, because the mother does not clothe him in the same way she clothes the other Sephirot. This is delicate, but it carries a profound human teaching. Yesod is the power of covenant, connection, and transmission. It is the place where inner life becomes born. And there is a loneliness in that place. The one who carries connection may sometimes feel unsupported. The one who must transmit life may feel like an orphan. But that does not mean he is outside holiness. It means his tikkun is more hidden and more demanding. Then the Ari says that each of the 10 Sefirot of Zeir Anpin grows by receiving 1/3 from Binah, from Ima. This is the secret behind the teaching of the sages that the beautification of a mitzvah is up to 1/3. Hidur mitzvah, beautifying a commandment, is not random decoration. In this inner reading, 1/3 is the measure of growth. A thing is already itself, but it receives an added third, and through that added third, it becomes beautiful. This opens a very practical doorway. Holiness does not always require that we become someone else. Sometimes the tikkun is 1/3 more, 1/3 more patience, 1/3 more intention, 1/3 more softness in speech, 1/3 more discipline in the body, 1/3 more honesty before God. The vessel is already there, but it needs enlargement. Beauty comes when the existing form receives a higher measure. The Ari then reads the verse from Yeshayahu, "Who measured the waters in his hand, set the heavens with a span, and measured the dust of the earth by 1/3. The word me, who, points to Binah, the supernal mother. Binah measures, Binah separates, Binah gives boundaries. Binah does not only pour light, she gives light a form. The waters refer to the upper and lower waters, the masculine and feminine aspects, Zeir Anpin and Nukva. They must be distinguished. A measuring vessel receives, empties, and receives again. This is the secret of separation and order. Not every water belongs in the same place. Not every light descends through the same channel. The mother measures so that each part can receive according to its vessel. Then the verse speaks of the heavens measured with a span. The heavens are Zeir Anpin. The span marks boundaries inside him. Up to here is Hokmah. Up to here is Hesed. Up to here is Netzach. And so too in the left and middle lines. Growth is not chaos. Expansion is not shapeless. Even when light increases, it must enter with order. Finally, the verse speaks of the dust of the earth, measured by 1/3. The earth is Malchut, the feminine vessel. The Ari explains, that Malhut emerges from the upper third of Tiferet of Zeir Anpin, the place of the chest, between the two arms. This is a very tender image. Malhut, the place where divine light becomes expression and kingdom, emerges from the heart region, from the measured point of beauty and compassion. From here, the Ari connects the mystery of the mezuzah. The mezuzah corresponds to Malhut, and it is placed near the end of the upper third of the doorway. This physical placement hints to the inner emergence of Malhut from the upper third of Tiferet. The doorway is a boundary between inside and outside, and Malhut stands at the boundary. She guards the passage where inner holiness meets the outer world. The name Shaddai is connected with this guarding. It is read as Shomer Daltot Yisrael, guardian of the doors of Israel. The Ari says the mezuzah protects from the klipot, the forces of concealment and spiritual blockage. In the inner language of the chapter, when Malhut stands in her proper measured place, the outside forces do not cling to the back. The boundary is protected because the vessel is aligned. This is also the work of the soul. A person needs a doorway. Not everything outside should enter. Not everything inside should be exposed. Holiness needs gates. The soul needs a mezuzah, a point of remembrance at the threshold, saying, "This house belongs to God. This speech belongs to God. This body belongs to God. This day belongs to God." So the whole chapter is about mature growth. First there is body, then there is nursing, then there is second gestation, then mohin enter, then the qualities are enlarged by thirds. Then Malhut emerges in her measured place. Then the doorway is guarded. Nothing here is accidental. The Ari is teaching a universe where every inner power must be measured, clothed, enlarged, and protected. The tikkun of this chapter is to let God grow us in order. Do not demand full mohin before the vessel is ready. Do not despise the second ibur, the hidden return into the mother. Do not hate the measured thirds. Do not be ashamed if some part of you feels unfinished. Let Hesed be enlarged. Let Gevurah be sweetened. Let Tiferet become a true heart. Let Netzach endure. Hod bow. Yesod keep covenant. And Malhut guard the doorway. And when you stand at a doorway, when you enter your home, when you begin prayer, when you open your mouth, remember the measure. Holiness is not only fire. Holiness is order. Holiness is not only awakening. Holiness is a vessel prepared carefully enough to hold the awakening without breaking. The Ari gives us a map of the soul growing from smallness into maturity, from thin limbs into expanded light, from hidden pregnancy into guarded kingdom. Shalom.